Hi, I'm Shelley Maurer,
And I'm Cher Emmerich. Welcome to Life Lessons from Pickleball,
where we engage with pickleball players from around the world about life on and off the court.
Thanks for joining us. Welcome, everyone, to Life Lessons from Pickleball. We are so glad to have you, and especially those of you who are new to us, welcome. And if you're watching on YouTube, you might be wondering, what in the world is Shelley wearing on her neck? Shelley, why don't you bring us up to date?
I just want everyone to make sure everyone knows this is not a pickleball injury. I was hiking on the mountains of Switzerland and I had an accident. But everything's healing well and it's going to be coming off real soon, hopefully in a couple weeks.
Big neck brace. Yeah, well, we're so glad. Honestly, it was a very serious fall, and we're just glad you're alive and here to share that story with us. Thanks, Shelley. And how brilliant is it for us to have as our guest Ron Ponder? Ron, we are so delighted to have you here, and you've been deeply involved in every level of pickleball since 2017.
You are a USA Pickleball certified referee. You've served 7 years as an ambassador, including as an international director of ambassadors, and you sit on the USA Pickleball Rules Committee.
And you're now the Global Pickleball Federation's Director of Officiating, traveling the world, boy, I'll say, to teach both officiating and pickleball.
Wow, Ron, we have a lot to dive into, but let's start with what was happening in your life when you first picked up a pickleball paddle?
So I used to be an avid bicyclist. That's what I did, 20 to 30 miles a day. I was in Galveston, Texas, living a good life. I went for a ride with a guy, and at the end of it, he said, "Hey, we're playing pickleball this afternoon. If you want to join us." And I'm like, "Never heard of it. Don't know what that is, but sure, I'll come along." And I did, and had a good time. So kind of off and running there. So yeah, but yeah, everything was good in my life, and I didn't know it, but I was ready for a new adventure.
And boy, has it not been an adventure, and we're going to get into that adventure. You used in your intro to us, we asked you to send something, and you wrote, playing fanatically, reffing responsibly. What was that trajectory for you?
So I became a referee shortly after I took up the sport, and found out, sometimes you don't know you've got talents that have been hidden, and it turned out I was a good referee. I was loud, I was confident, whether I was right or whether I was wrong. Obviously, I was good looking, and so
Yes, indeed.
everything kind of went well. And I very seldom said no. So if someone said, "Hey, come ref at this tournament," or "Let's do this," or "Let's do that," I was game for it.
So someone just asked you, because I've been playing for about 2.5 years now, and I'm fanatic. I love it, but I've never thought about reffing. No one's ever asked me to ref.
So my story is pretty quickly was that I played in Galveston, Texas that time. 5 months later, and we've got a vacation home in Galveston, Texas. And 5 months later, I went back down there and thought, oh, I can go play that pickleball game. And I did that. 6 months later, I went down there and I found out I was looking forward to playing. So, and then I thought, I'll check in Oklahoma City, see if there's any club or anything there. Probably not, because if I haven't heard of it, probably no one else has ever heard of it. Well, it turned out we had a club with 400 members. I think we're now at 4,000 members. And so I played every day for 3 weeks. Well, what I did in my bicycle life was that every year I would go to Europe. I would take a little folding bike and I would tour around in Europe for 5 weeks. That time I was in England. It was raining every day. And so I found a group there in South London to play with. And I played with them every, 2 or 3 nights, 1 week. And then one night they said, "Hey, we're going to Madrid next week to play in a tournament." And I said, oh, well, I'm not doing anything. I'll come watch. And they said, no, come play. And I'm like, I'm not good enough. And they said, oh, send them money. They don't care. So I sent them money, and it turned out they didn't care. But I thought, hey, if I'm going to play in this tournament, I should probably know the rules. And so I read the rules the night before the tournament, which is unusual for tournament players because most of them have never read the rules. So
Right.
So I went to this tournament, had a really good time, came back to the States, drove 1,400 miles to Georgia to play in a tournament. And I only entered in singles because I didn't know how to enter as a double, and I didn't have a partner or anything. But I thought it was a seniors tournament, and I thought, well, it's 3 weeks away. Surely someone will die by the time the tournament rolls around, and I'll have a partner. Well, that didn't happen. I mean, thank goodness. So,
Didn't know what to wish for.
know what to wish for. So I drove down there, scored 4 points in singles. I'm not a singles player. As I'm walking out to my car, I heard the announcement, we need referees. If you know the rules, you can be a referee. And that's verbatim. That's exactly what was said. So I thought, well, I read the rule book 2 weeks ago, turned around, went back, followed one guy for a game to 21, and I was a referee. Now,
Right then.
that's not the way it happens now, but that's the way it happened for me.
How does it happen now?
So now, so I was a referee for a little while, 6 months, something like that, in Oklahoma, where we don't have a lot of sanctioned tournaments. So I didn't have much experience. And I read about this certified referee program, which at the time, it was really hard. 70% of people were failing, and you got two chances to pass this certified test. 70% were failing. So, okay, that's a pretty tough test. I like a challenge, so I did it, and I passed. Being good looking probably didn't have anything to do with it, but I guess I got lucky with, and there is luck involved in that process to some degree. But nowadays, we've got a very rigid, very delineated training program for referees, and you become a level 1 referee, meaning you know how to put people in place and you know how to call a score and a lot of stuff. You just don't have a lot of experience. After a lot of practice reffing matches, you can assess for level 2, which is you're good. You just don't have all the experience that a certified ref maybe has. Mm-hmm. So the more often you see things happen, the more chance you're going to have to say, oh, I saw this happen 2 years ago. Here's what I did wrong then. Here's how I'll handle it now. After level 2, if you decide to go on to be a certified ref, you get a lot more training. You get a mentor. You go through simulated matches. You finally take the test, which is you ref 3 matches at least under the supervision of an evaluator. There's only 6 evaluators, I think, in the U.S. or in the world. Well, in the universe. Huh. And so, there's some things that you've got to do right, or you fail immediately, and then it's a point system, but you don't get to mess up very much. So if you see someone who's a certified ref, they know what they are doing. So you can trust that. Not that we never make mistakes. I've made so many mistakes. I've got patents on 2 of my mistakes. So when someone else does them, I get paid for it. So that's pretty cool.
What attribute makes a really good ref that we might not even notice?
Good eyesight is not one of them. No, it actually is. We have to take a visual acuity test every year. And so we've all got good eyesight. And then confidence, attention to detail would be probably the 2 largest, because when you're reffing, especially nowadays, now when I started reffing, people were playing for plastic medals. Now they're playing for $100,000 paydays. So they can get excited about things that you do or things that you say or things that they think you should have seen. So, you've got to be confident in your decisions, and you've got to know the rules, the procedures, what you should say, what you shouldn't say, and know that you're going to do it to the best of your ability. And so that's probably a huge part of it.
I'm always amazed when the ref notices foot fault into the kitchen
Right?
because there's so much going on. It's like, wow, how are you keeping your eye on the kitchen line and also everything else that's going on?
It's because we don't pay attention to all the other stuff going on.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds strange, but we've got 11 priorities, I guess, 11 tasks that we are supposed to take care of. Number 11 is helping with line calls.
Ah.
So it's way down on our list of responsible things. And that's something strange in the pickleball world. But number 5 or number 6 is watching the no volley zone. And that's because no one watches the no volley zone. And it can be a huge difference maker in the game.
Mhm.
So that is our priority. Now, as you become a better ref, as you get more experience, you realize that if these guys at the baseline hit a drop shot and it bounces, then you can watch the returning team who's at the no volley zone. You can watch them return the ball. You can watch to see where the ball goes.
Uh-huh.
So experience is something that helps there. Just knowing when you can watch and when you can't watch. So
Yeah.
You have to be a good multitasker.
you've got to be a pretty good multitasker. Yes.
For sure. Well, and like really understand the game and think and be thinking ahead, like you're
Right.
saying. Well, they
Yes.
just hit. It's just as if you're playing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that comes with experience also in being a player. I think being a player definitely helps a referee. There's a few referees who aren't players,
Oh,
which I think is kind of unusual.
Yeah.
But being a player, you can think to yourself, "Oh, that shot is going wide, so this player running over here is going to try an ATP, and I need to step out of the way. I need to watch this. I need to watch that. All sorts of things." Right.
Yeah.
And an ATP, for those who might not know, means that you hit the ball around the pole rather than over the net, but it goes into the court on the other side, and it's still a good shot. Those are really, really exciting.
Yeah.
So you are an international traveler. In fact, Ruth Rosenquist, one of our heroes, introduced us to you. And she said, I don't know if he's going to have any openings to be able to meet with you guys. And thank you so much that you are having this conversation with us.
I appreciate it all.
She also mentioned that there is a story about Madagascar. She was with you. And can you share that story?
So I get requests from around the world to come teach referees. And I got a request from Madagascar, which is a large island off the east coast of Africa, down around South Africa. And they said, "Can you come ref our national tournament?" And I'm like, well, I was going to be in Egypt anyway. So that's not close to Madagascar, but it's closer than Oklahoma is. So I said, sure. Okay, that'll be cool. Tell me about it. Tell me how many players you have. And we'll go from there. Well, the guy wouldn't answer me and wouldn't answer me and wouldn't answer me. And finally, while I was in Egypt, I said, I just don't think I can come. There was a big tournament in Portugal that wanted me also. And I said, I just don't think I'm going to be able to come. And he said, well, I've told everyone that you're going to be here. And so I'll lose a lot of face if you don't come. Well, I don't want anyone to lose any face. I said, okay, I'll come. So I fly down to Madagascar, catch the flight over to the city where it's going to be. When I get there, they have a tennis court that they're using as their pickleball court. So they've lowered the net to the right size, and that's it. They've got 4 paddles that they play with, and then they pass it on to the next player. And they were playing it like tennis. So they understood the no volley zone, the kitchen, but they understood that you weren't supposed to be in there, but they didn't know why, and they didn't know how they weren't supposed to be, and all this stuff. So I spent 3 days teaching them to play the sport. And then we had their national tournament with 13 players. Oh. So we had 1 court, and we got them out there, and they played, and I reffed, and we had a good time. We had a great time, actually. And one of the days I asked the guy, I said, so do you know who I am at all? And he goes, no, I don't know you at all. I said, okay, so why did you think that I would come do this? He says, oh, because my friend in Zambia, he said you would. I said, oh, okay, well, it's good enough for me. I mean, he was obviously right. Here I am. So
one part I loved about that story that you didn't say, Ron, is where you stayed when you were in Madagascar.
Yeah, so I told the guy, I said, the only thing I require is accommodations. It can be a cheap hotel room. It can be a couch. It doesn't matter. And he goes, oh, well, we built you a house. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means, but okay, if I've got a bed, I'm okay. So I get there, and they built me a casita, a small house, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, but it's brand new, and it smells of like paint. Wow. I said, am I the first one to ever stay here? And he goes, I was painting when your plane was landing at the airport. I was finishing up the painting. I'm like, oh my gosh. And it was really nice. Really? It was really, really super nice. So there you go. I'm sure they're going to let other people stay there.
But you got the debut visit.
I'm the father of pickleball in Madagascar. So there you go.
In fact, you're probably the father of many countries, certainly certain areas. What are some of your most meaningful or poignant experiences? I mean, that was really sweet, the Madagascar one, but do you have others
that was very cool. So I went to Ghana, also in Africa, to ref there. The African Games are essentially the Olympics for countries in Africa. And we had 14 countries come to Ghana. One of the countries traveled by bus during the day and hid in the forest at night, and then rode the bus the next day. One of the teams, I thought, man, they've got nice Selkirk paddles. That's really surprising to me. But then I noticed that what they'd done was they'd taken plywood, cut out paddles, and pasted a Selkirk
logo or something?
Copy on it. Oh, and so they were playing with those. And I always take paddles with me, so we donated paddles to them. They had 60 competitors, something like that. It took us 3 days. There were a couple of hours at a time when no one was on a court because we were trying to figure out the brackets. But everyone was having such a good time. And the funny thing was that, to me, it was funny, but they had National Guard type security around so that there wasn't trouble. And Ghana is a very peaceful country. They don't have problems, but they didn't want there to be problems. So they had National Guard people there, probably about 15 guys and girls. And as the players were coming up and taking pictures with me, because they made a big deal out of who I am. And then these National Guard people started coming up and wanting selfies with me, having absolutely no idea who I am. Obviously important if everyone else is taking a picture with me. And I'm sure they're back home showing people, oh, here I am with this guy. I have no idea who he is, but he's really important.
He had the final word
That's a
in the
good
Yes,
game.
story.
that's
That's
fine.
important.
That is a good story.
Kwabena Akufo was
Yes,
on our show, and he introduced Ghana to
right.
pickleball, right?
And he's the one
Pickleball
that
to
made a
Ghana.
big deal out of who I
I bet he
was.
did. Oh my gosh, that is
He is a
so.
super, super cool guy.
Well, now I want
My
to be a ref and
gosh.
travel the
So
world.
I like people to like me too much. It would be hard
Yeah.
for me to
That's
have them all mad at me
that's
because
one thing. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking though, if someone out there is thinking about wanting to be a ref after hearing your inspiring story, how do they go about that? What should they? And are there a need for a lot of refs now?
So yeah, in the States, we really got this program up and running. So we've got a lot of refs, but USAP has changed the sanctioning rules for tournaments. And so even though there's an expansion of tournaments, they're using fewer and fewer referees per tournament.
Hmm.
And so you can still find work. Most people try and do it so that they break even. And that's becoming more and more possible. Now, when I started, um, I got $2 for a year or so. And then I got a promotion, I got $5. And so I'm sure that when I pass, my children are going to be like, what in the heck? I thought there was going to be money left over.
No?
Sorry, kids, there's not going to be. They could actually reach out to USAP and ask, and we will refer them on to someone local to them who will start the process, and we'll go from there.
are you still playing or do you only ref?
Oh, I played 2 times yesterday, once in Kansas City and then once in Edmond. So when I do road trips, I plan them so that I can play in places where I know that there's good open play. And I think if you're really a fanatic about it, I was in Albuquerque driving to Los Angeles, and I thought, oh, and this was several years ago. Albuquerque's got good open drop-in play now, but at the time they didn't. And I thought, where can I go? And this was at 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, Surprise, Arizona has the best open play. So I drove 8 hours overnight so that I could play at Surprise, Arizona in August early in the morning.
Early in the morning.
Oh my God. You are a fanatic.
Yeah, you're
Yes.
an avid player.
I like spreading the joy.
Yeah, that is so cool. Well, my goodness. And you continue to just jump on planes and go wherever you're being asked to go. And you are taking the rules with you. You're teaching people how to play who have never played before. You're helping those who are excellent at the game stay excellent because of your awesome reffing. You have such an amazing reputation, Ron, not
Thank
just for being handsome, but also being a good referee. and
Good, because the handsome will go away over time, but
I doubt
the
it.
refereeing will remain.
But in all of your adventures on and off the court, have you gleaned some life lessons that you can share?
First off, I posted once on Facebook, and I've been a heavy user of Facebook. I'm kind of getting away from it now,
Mm.
but I posted, "What has pickleball done for your life?" And I said, for me, it's helped my reflexes. I mean, if I got on a street fight and someone pulled out a pickleball, whew, I'd be ready for it. So, but 99% of the people said their social life,
Mm.
and especially for an older generation, there's so many of them that would have just been sitting at home watching The Price is Right or whatever, and now they're out playing a sport. They're not running 100-yard dashes, but they're playing a sport.
Yep.
They're engaged. They're living life. They've got something to look forward to, and that's amazing to me. Absolutely, just stunning. There's not another sport in the world. People go, "Oh, paddle. It's going to be the next big sport." Well, I've never seen a 60-year-old taking up paddle. I've never seen a 9-year-old taking up paddle. I've never seen 4 generations of players on a court, on any court, playing any sport. And I've seen that multiple times in pickleball. I've got a friend in our club, 92 years old. He is actually passed now, but
Oh,
someone said, "So when are you going to quit?" And he said, "Why would I quit? I'm 92 and I'm playing now. Is something going to happen that I'm not going to be able to keep playing?" So, and that's right. You know, he didn't run down lobs, but if you hit it near him, he would return it. So, and then, you know, teamwork, you know, just feeling good about yourself. You learn a lot about yourself. If the ball lands on the line and you call it out, you
hmm
should just learn something about yourself, and
good point.
not to the best, not to the best.
Right.
So, you know, there's just so many things that that pickleball does that probably unique to pickleball, I think.
And especially your experience of all over the world. I know that different tribes, different faiths, different cultures, even in the States, of course, we're not, maybe we are tribal now, sadly, but,
Yes, I think so. I think that would be
but,
safe.
but overseas for sure, that blending that you would not expect, and maybe there was never any other opportunity that pickleball provides.
Right.
I just so inspired.
Well, in Ghana, 14 countries came. Um, Never a crossword between anyone. Everyone had a
Wow.
great time.
Wow.
Um, yeah. Iran asked me to come teach them to referee.
Oh,
My wife wouldn't let me
oh,
because she's the smart one in the family. But they were like, "Come," you know,
oh,
and so we're working on things around the world to get it. So
Where's your next
fantastic.
trip?
let's see. I will be going to the Philippines in November, but even before then, Croatia, Eastern Europe are on the table as far as just figuring out details. Malta wants me to come, and I want to go to Malta.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's I can go at the drop of a hat. So
Wow.
Fantastic. We just had a guest on our show, Smiley Riley Palmer.
oh yeah,
And
Smiley.
yeah, so she has the floating pickleball courts, and there's one right on the coast of Croatia. So
Yeah,
maybe you'll have a chance to play on that too.
yeah. She goes to Greece pretty often. So.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you. And how can people find you online?
Ron Ponder, well, online, email is ronponder@hotmail.com. And I get questions from around the world daily about rules. So anytime you've got a question about rules, you can find me on Facebook, Ron Ponder. You can find me on Messenger, Ron Ponder, the email, and yeah, I'm out there. So
Thank you.
you
Well,
bet.
thank you. Thank you for everything you're doing. Oh my gosh, all the travels and the way you're bringing the world together under this amazing, silly little game that's changing
Well,
us.
it's not like it's a burden. I get to
No.
play pickleball, so there is that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And thank you all for tuning in. Great to have you joining us. Please share this. Yeah, and if you're interested in reffing, check it out. And be kind to the refs who are reffing. I mean, that's a big commitment
That's
on their
right.
part, and we really appreciate what they're doing to make our games as fair as possible. So thank you all, and we look forward to a new conversation next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. If you love our podcast, we'd be so grateful if you'd take a few seconds to follow or subscribe to Life Lessons from Pickleball. This ensures you'll never miss an episode and helps us continue these wonderful conversations.
On Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen, go to the show page and tap the follow button in the top right corner. And on YouTube, click the subscribe button under any of the episodes.
Thanks so much. Hope to see you on the court.